we started off with America's Most Wanted. When we were kids, it was on TV.
All the time.
All the time. It was unavoidable. And we didn't have Netflix and we didn't have, like Disney Prime. If it was on, it was on. And it was kind of something everybody knew. If a person is just listening to serial killers, court cases as a podcast almost on a daily basis, how do you think that impacts a person? Welcome everyone to the third podcast that we have decided to do. My name is Bat Pixie.
I'm Azrael.
And today we're going to be discussing the last video on the channel, which was regarding true crime content. Now, the reason why I wanted to touch upon this is I went down the rabbit hole. I was up late at night just scrolling, and all of a sudden I saw police body cam footage. Then one thing led to another. I was on Wikipedia discovering serial killers in the Midwest. And it made me realize this was actually something that is probably worth discussing. It's not only about the fact that this content is shown to us, it's that a lot of it we think is always real. We think that it's happening in our neighborhood, but it's not always the case. Sometimes these actions take place, in different countries, but we associate it with our own neighborhoods. And so just to start off things, I wanted to quickly ask Azrael over here, what is the type of true crime content that you've noticed has been shared with you on social media and you've actually enjoyed watching?
A long time ago, yes, I did get a lot of true crime content pushed into my feeds, but lately, no. I mean, that's how the algorithm works, obviously, but...
The algorithm is something that you brought up right now, and it's something that I've noticed as well. If you watch a lot of true crime content, the algorithm is going to keep showing it to you. If you watch a lot of videos on terrorism, you're going to think the whole world is full of terrorists running around because that's what the algorithm shows.
Yep, exactly.
And so you had a chance to watch the video, you had a chance to go through that history. Something that I presented in the video was we started off with America's Most Wanted. When we were kids, it was on TV.
All the time.
All the time. It was unavoidable. And we didn't have Netflix and we didn't have, like Disney Prime. If it was on, it was on. And it was kind of something everybody knew. Do you remember those shows?
Oh, yeah.
Dateline, all of them.
Dateline, True Crime,
To Catch a Predator.
Yeah, that's actually what I've been watching.
Okay.
Not with Chris Hansen, obviously. Yeah. With what is it, Skeet Hansen?
Okay.
I don't know if you've watched it, but I've gotten back into watching those again.
Okay.
And I have a revolving set of YouTubers that I watch, and then this is just one of the ones that I come back to at least once or twice a year.
The second thing that I did point out in the video was the power of a podcast. So back in 2014, Serial came out, and it's just a podcast where a person deep dived into a criminal case, a court case, presented it from different points of view, showcasing how the event unfolded. I know that you are quite fond of podcasts. Do you listen mostly to podcasts where it is just, general banter, or are you more watching podcasts that are focused, or listening to podcasts that are focused on a subject matter?
A bit of both. 50-50. Yeah, it has to be 50-50 because it depends on my mood. If my mood strikes that, I want to learn something and I'm going to listen to Star Talk from Neil Tyson, or if I'm just, doing something and I want some gray noise on the background and just have something play, then I'll throw on one of those that are just, general banter, and then that's about it, and then I'll go about my day. Star
Talk is a really interesting one. It's hosted by Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Exceptionally famous for presenting massive concepts on the universe in a way that is digestible and easy to understand most of the time.
Yeah.
I've listened to the podcast, and I've noticed that the more I listen to that podcast, I feel smarter. I feel even more dumber after I get to the end, but it changes my perception of the world. It expands the point of view.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious now on what do you think? If a person is just listening to serial killers, court cases as a podcast almost on a daily basis, What do you think that? How do you think that impacts a person?
I was just about to say, what are you getting at?
Yeah.
No, I think I understand what you're getting at, and I do kind of agree, because it changes your brain chemistry, right? Because you're constantly listening to it, and then, you know, what they say is if you have it on your mind, you're going to dream about it, you're going to think about it, your subsequent thoughts are going to follow suit. So I don't agree with people constantly listening to these murder podcasts or whatever they might be. I'd rather they have like a revolving set of podcast channels that they're going to listen to, but don't focus on such things.
Yeah.
At least that's my personal opinion. But if you're listening to educational channels, then again, like I said, it's going to be on your mind, and you're going to think about it, you're going to absorb that information, and it's going to be with you. So I'd rather people focus on something like that.
I did think about a situation where it might be valuable to listen to a podcast that does cover this type of subject matter. And it's because I met somebody who just came across as being completely oblivious to the world or any safety matter for that case.
Okay.
To the point where they didn't understand basic practical safety things like don't walk, like in a miniskirt at night in the dark alleyway kind of thing.
That's concerning.
Like the most basic thing, grown people.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me realize that sometimes you need to listen to reality to see what people are capable of, so that you can actually have a more serious point of view when you go out into the world, because not everyone is going to have the same mind frame as you or people you interact with. I take the SkyTrain to work, and this morning there's a police officer escorting somebody off because they literally were on drugs. It's just the way the world is, and sometimes if you don't get a chance to go out in it, you're not going to be exposed to that. Like literally gone out of their thing, and you never know what could happen. Most of the time it's just harm to themselves. But in the past, I have worked as a security guard, I know. I don't look that intimidating, but I was a very bad mall cop. I do recall one case where I was told to go to, on a daily basis actually, to go into the parkade, staircase, and make certain that nobody was over there. Now, I was pretty young, I was still in school, like working the late night graveyard job. And all alone, just two cops in the entire mall. And I was so afraid I would not just walk into the staircase and like walk up. I would go, this is private property. I would just scream it out into the staircase to make certain nobody was there. And if I didn't hear anyone, then I'd walk up. But one day I screamed it out and somebody went, hold it, man, hold it, I'm leaving. And I was like so terrified. And then I waited like 5 minutes, and then I said, I know you're still in there. But he had gone. But the thing is that in those staircases, we would find needles. People did actually, take drugs, shoot up.
Yeah.
And one thing that you are trained on is that it's very important to be safe and be aware that you could be attacked with a needle. And if there's something in that needle, HIV, whatever, right? There's no coming back. You're just going to have to live your life with that, right? There's cases of nurses who are one of the professions that face the most amount of danger, and they do face a lot of attacks in the workplace. I volunteered in a hospital, I know this firsthand. They even tell you stories like a nurse would have, done CPR for somebody. Young nurses, they think they can save everyone, and CPR on a patient that has blood, and they contracted some sort of disease. It happens. So you got to be aware of your surroundings, be mindful. But as we mentioned, when you consume this type of media too much, it will change your brain chemistry. So be very selective on that. And this actually brings us to the modern era of, TikToks, Facebook, even YouTube, where people now consume this type of crime content on a daily basis as comfort. So they'll be doing makeup tutorials whilst showing, a serial killer in a mask killing someone or discussing it at least. Cleaning their house whilst you listen to this content. I used to listen to a lot of gaming podcasts whilst cleaning the house. I still do sometimes. That was my comfort. So it was really interesting for me to hear that there's an entire world where they listen to this type of content as comfort food.
Yeah, I agree.
Which actually brings me to my question right now. Like, what is the type of comfort podcast or stuff that you listen to when you have to clean the house?
Star Talk is my go-to. I don't really listen to too many. Shits and Gigs, obviously. It's just that, the usual banter kind of funny podcast. But other than that, I enjoy listening to audiobooks.
Audiobooks?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a good point. Audiobooks.
Yeah, audiobooks are my go-to. Because you got a very wide variety of books to choose from, whatever it might be. But yeah, that's usually what I listen to. Unfortunately, doesn't fit into this discussion, but yeah.
But it's actually really interesting. I didn't actually think about audiobooks because, sci-fi, crime, westerns, they're huge. I know a lot of people enjoy that. I enjoy that as well. Maybe something I'll have to explore later on in one of the videos. So this was the first video that I did covering this subject matter. And it actually reminded me, whilst I was making it, of a book that I picked up when I was in Hong Kong back in 2009. I was transiting from South Africa to Canada by myself, 14-hour layover or whatever. Walked into the bookstore and there's a book called Mac Mafia.
Okay.
Mac Mafia was probably one of my favorite books because it literally takes different countries in the world and showcases a particular type of crime unique to that area. It talks about organ harvesting down in South America. It talks about, in the Baltic Sea, they were catching sturgeon and harvesting them for caviar.
Okay.
It talks about, different places in the world. In Canada, Russia, Germany, China, in South Africa, everywhere. And so the next video that I'm going to be doing, as a complimentary video to this one that just went by, is I'm going to highlight 4 countries: the Philippines, Brazil, and 2 others. You'll have to catch the video to see those 2 others.
Okay.
And we're going to share a different point of view. Based on those countries, what is the thing that people identify as they're most afraid of versus what is actually impacting them? So what is the thing that the media presents versus what is actually happening? And so I think that would be a nice little way to cover true crime and to also explore it on a real basis within different countries to see how it differs. But yeah, I want to bring it to a close. I think we had a nice early discussion on this topic, and we're going to have many more going forward, especially after the next video. And again, just as we head out of here, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and that's Future Folklore. Rewind.
We're signing out.
Okay, bye everyone.
See ya. So lame. So lame. Putting my whole messy living room on display.
Bye.
I think they're still gonna
Come
see
back. Come back. Okay.